third graders. Today is Monday, January 4th, and we are looking at, in our blue pages, which is our instruction book, we are going over page 280 and 281. So we're still working on perimeter and area, but our main focus this week is going to be area still. We're hopefully going to finish this up in the next 2 weeks, and then we're going to move into fractions. Understand area. It says, what are some ways that we measure shapes? Think about different ways you can measure a rug that has the shape of a rectangle. You could measure the length. Remember, your length is your longest side. The length tells you how long the rug is from one end to another. What I would do on my page is I would circle the word length and the word long, and that's going to help us remember that length is our long side. L for length, L for long. The rug at the right is 3 feet long. You can see the longest side is 3, and it is in feet. You can also measure the width of the rug. The width tells how wide the rug is from one side to another. So our width is going to be our short side. So width is short, length is long, width is short. So you might circle the word width there, and I would write in short. So you can help remember that length is long, width is short. Think, when you measure area, you measure both the length and the width. Length times width, and I would write that down as well. Suppose you want to know the area of the rug. What you want to know is how much floor the rug covers. Area, and here's your definition, underline that. Area is the amount of space a shape covers. In area, remember, we're filling in the grass inside our playground. We want to fill the shape up. We want to cover the entire shape with our squares. You can use a measuring tape to find how long a rug is and to find how wide it is. But that won't tell you how much of the floor the rug covers. You want to know about the space between that length and width. You want to fill in your shape. That's what area does. It fills in the inside of the shape. Again, here's our definition. We're now on page 281. And you have your definition again at the think box at the top. It says think, area is the amount of space a shape covers. We want to cover our shape. Circle that word there, covers. You measure area in square units. There's a vocabulary word, square units. We're covering a shape with squares is what we're doing. This square has an area of 1 square unit. That means it would be 1 all the way around. So we're going to take that square and we're going to cover up our shape with it to find area. Now perimeter, we would just walk around the outside, but on area, we got to cover it up. You can measure area by covering a shape. There's that word cover again. I'd underline that. With the same size squares, without gaps, without overlaps. You can't have spaces in between your squares, and your squares can't cross over another square. They have to be side by side. Then count. So if you have squares, all you have to do is count to find out how many same size squares or square units cover the shape. Look at our little boy here. He's telling us when he measures area, he makes sure the square units line up with the edges of the shape. He also makes sure the squares don't overlap or have gaps between them. Now, a gap is just a space. A gap is a space between your squares. So you don't want any spaces. You want them to be side by side. Okay? So we underline covering. We underline count to help us remember that's how we're finding area. We're going to take our square units and cover our shape, and then we just simply count our squares. So look at our rug now. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 squares that cover the entire rug. So the area of this rug, circle this, is 6 square units. We have a question we're going to answer now, and then we'll be finished with this page. It says, explain how you use square units to find the area of a shape. Simple. Remember what the little boy told you? I cover the shape with square units. And remember, we can't have gaps and we can't have anything crossing or overlapping. And make sure there are no gaps or overlapping squares. Now, how are we going to find our area once we cover our shape? We're going to count them, aren't we? Because remember, we underline count. So I cover the shape with square units and make sure there are no gaps or overlapping squares. To get the area, and I'm going to capitalize area because I want it to stand out. To get the area, I will count all the squares. And that's how you find area when you have the square units or your grid that covers your shape. Okay? So now what you're going to do after you've complete page 280 and 281, we're going to close that book. We're going to get out our red book. We're going to find the pages that our Google Classroom tells us to tear out. Should be one page, front and back. And you're going to be working on counting these squares to get the area of a shape. If you have questions, leave it in the comments.